Dear future teachers, welcome to today's session on Unit 10 Narratives. It is a series which consists of 46 questions and which are giving confidence and gives boosting to your upcoming examination. So here about MCQ series. With your permission, I want to discuss few key points. Then I will start the this MCQ series. So here, education narratives refers to ideas, philosophies, and techniques of great thinkers that guide purpose of methods of education. The core idea of this thinker that is about characteristic building, moral values, holistic development, social responsibility. Major thinkers like Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, G.D. Krishnamurti, Sri Aurobindo, Savitri Phule, Gijubai, like Rabindranath Tagore, they are initiated many concepts related to this unit. So here, without wasting your time, I want to start the MCQ series. So here, just simple one. Mahatma Gandhi, it is related to the concept, sorry. The concept related to the Mahatma Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, that is about the Nai Talim. So here, learning through work and craft. This is the concept of the Mahatma Gandhi. Education is self-reliance. That is about the concept of Mahatma Gandhi. Coming to Vivekananda, Vivekananda is about the manifestation of inner potential. Vivekananda focus on character building, moral strength, confidence. G.D. Krishnamurti, fear and fear. No road to learning. He was not supported to, he encouraged independent thinking. Aurobindo, integral education. Savitri Phule, she opened pioneer of women education. Gijubai Badeka, play activity based. Rabindranath Tagore, nature and freedom. So these are key points related to narratives. Okay, with your permission, I want to start the first question. Mahatma Gandhi's educational philosophy, which emphasizes learning through productive craft, is famously known as. So that is about Nai Talim, which is nothing but basic education. Introduced by Gandhi in the 1937 Warda scheme, Nai Talim is nothing but new basic education proposed that education should be imparted through productive, self-sustaining craft, bridging the gap between manual labor and intellectual work. Integral education, post-independent man-making education, that is Vivekananda, constructivities, that is education philosophy of Banduras and other philosophers. Constructive, that is what NCF 2005. So, question number two. Which of the following best summarize the Swami Vivekananda's definition of education? That is about A. Strict memorization of Vedic scriptures. B. The manifestations of the perfection already in man. C. The process of acquiring degrees for employment. D. The elimination of individual ego through silent mediation. So your answer is B. Manifestation of the perfection already in man. Vivekananda believed that all knowledge, secular or spiritual, is inherent in the human soul. The role of education is simply to uncover, manifest this pre existing perfection by removing the veil of ignorance. Question number three. G.D. Krishnamurti strongly criticized traditional education system primarily because he believed they did not focus enough on competitive exams, ignored the teaching of ancient language, c. conditioned the mind through fear, authority, and conformity, destroying true intelligence, d. failed to prepare students for industrial jobs. So here is the answer that is about C. Condition the mind through fear, authority, and conformity, destroying true intelligence. Krishnamurti argued that school use competition, reward, and punishment to make students conform to societal norms. He believed true education should be free the mind and from fear and condition to allow genuine creative intelligence for flower. Sri Aurobindo's education philosophy, which aims, sorry, just 1 minute, creative intelligence to the what is see? He believed that true education should be free and mind free from and conditioned to allow genuine creative intelligence of the individual. Sorry here, of the intelligence of the individual. Question number 4. Sri Aurobindo's education philosophy, which aims at the development of the physical, vital, mental, psychic, and spiritual aspect of human being, is termed holistic education, vocational education, integral education, dialectical education. So here his answer is that is about integral education. What is that one? Integral education. Sorry. Integral education. Arabinda's integral education seeks to integrate the various parts of the human being, that is, the physical body, vital energy, mental intellect, and the spiritual soul to achieve a driven life on earth. Question number 5. Savitri Bai Phule is a pioneering figure in Indian educational history, primarily for her relentless struggle to establish English medium universities, promote the education of girls and historically marginalized untouchable caste. C. Introduce physical education school. D. Replace the Gurukula system with the British model. So here the answer is promote the education of girls and historically marginalized untouchable caste. Savitribai Phule, along with her husband Jyotirao Phule, opened the first school in Maharashtra for girls in Pune, that is 1848, and fiercely fought against the oppressive caste system and tried to provide education to marginalized. 61. Gijubai Badekar, an eminent educator from Gujarat, is best known for his classic book on child-centric education titled. What is that? A. Gitanjali. B. Deva Swapna, that means daydreams. C. Hindu Swaraj. D. Pedagogy of Oppress. So it is the answer is that is Deva Swapna. Sorry. Deva Swapna. What is that? Deva Swapna. What is that? Daydream. Deva Swapna is a fictionalized account of teacher who reject traditional oppressive method of rote learning and corporal punishment instead of using stories, games, and play method to create a joyful learning environment. Question number 7. Rabindranath Tagore established his experimental school, which later became Vishwabharati in Wardha, Shantiniketan, Pondicherry, Sabarmati. So your answer is that is about Shantiniketan. Tagore founded a school at Shantiniketan, a board office, to break away from four walls of colonial schoolroom, emphasizing that education must happen in the lap of nature in an atmosphere of freedom and joy. Eighth one. According to Mahatma Gandhi, what does 3H model of education stand for? A. Study humanities in the B. Health, hygiene, happiness. C. Head, heart, hand. D. Hope, harmony, hard work. So here is the answer that is about head, heart, hand. Gandhi rejected the purely intellectual focus of British education. He advocated for the holistic development of Head means intellect, heart that means ritual, and hand that means manual labor and practical skills. Ninth one. Swami Vivekananda's concept of making education places the highest emphasis on passing academic examination, character building, courage, and self confidence. See, learning foreign language, they accumulating material wealth. So here answer is character building, courage, and self confidence. Vivekananda famous stated, "We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, and the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand one's own feet." Ninth, 10th one. In Jiddu Krishnamurti's education vision, the relationship between the teacher and the student should be one of the strict authority and obedience, B. Transactional and focus purely on academics, C. A relationship of mutual inquiry where both are learning together without hierarchical fear, D. Distant and formal. So your answer is a relationship of mutual inquiry where both are learning together without hierarchical fear. So here Krishnamurti believed that the educator must also be educated. The teacher and student should observe the world and the mind together in an atmosphere of freedom and mutual affection. Question number 11. Which of the following is the first principle of teaching according to Sri Aurobindo? Teacher must maintain strict discipline. Nothing can be taught. The mind must be shaped by teacher's will. Memorization is the foundation of knowledge. So your answer is nothing can be taught. According to the Aurobindo stated that nothing can be taught. The teacher is not an instructor or taskmaster. They are helper and a guide. Their business is to suggest and not to impose, helping the child's mind to grow according to its own nature. 12th one. National Education Policy NEP 2020 emphasis on rootedness and pride in India. Rootedness and pride in India directly echoes the education philosophy of Thomas Macaulay, Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, John Locke, and B.F. Skinner. So your answer is Swami Vivekananda and Rabindranath Tagore. Both Vivekananda and Tagore advocated for an education that is deeply rooted in Indian culture, spiritual and philosophical heritage, Gnan Parampara, while remaining open to global scientific advancement. 13th one. Gijibai Badeka was profoundly influenced by the education methods of which Western educator adapting them for Indian context. So Maria Montessori, John Dewey, Ivan Illich, and Jean Jacques Rousseau. So the answer is Maria Montessori. That is about Jacques Rousseau. Jacques Rousseau, sorry, it's a Gijubai. Sorry, Gijubai is about the adapting context. That is about the Maria Montessori. Sorry, Maria Montessori. Maria Montessori. Known officially, known affectionately as Muchalima. Muchalima, who is that? Maria Montessori. Mother with mouse-stick. Muchalima is for his maternal care of children. Gijubai deeply studied the Montessori method and established Bal Mandirs, that means kindergartens in India based on child directed play exploration. Tagore's vision for Vishwabharati was summarized in its motto Yatra Vishwam Bhavya Bhavya Tikendra. What is that one? Yatra Vishwasam Bhavita Kendra Bhavithin Khandiyam, which translate to knowledge is power, where the whole world meets in single test, next, truth ultimates, education is liberation. So your answer is where the whole world meets the single nation. Unlike neo-nationalism, Tagore believed in internationalism and universal humanism. He designed Vishwabharati as a place where the cultural and intellectual traditions of East and West could meet and exchange in harmony. What is that? Yatra Vishwam Bhavatye Kanidam. Bhavatye Kanidam. Okay, that is about where the whole world meets in single nest. 16th one. Regarding to the medium of instruction, what are the Mahatma Gandhi's five stands? English is necessary for global competitiveness. B. Sanskrit should be the only language used in school. The mother tongue must be above instruction as learning in foreign language creates a disconnect with one's culture and slows learning. D. School should be completely silent. Language is unnecessary. So your answer is that is the mother tongue must be the medium of instruction as learning in a foreign language creates a disconnect with one's culture and slows learning. So your answer Gandhiji vehemently argued against English as the primary medium, stating it crippled Indian students. This idea is powerfully echoed today in the NEP 2020's mandate for foundation learning in mother tongue. Which Indian thinker declared 16th one? You will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Gita, emphasizing the absolute necessity of physical strength for youth. You will be nearer. You will be nearer to the heaven through football than through the study of Gita. So that means physical strength for youth. J.D. Krishnamurti, Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, and Savitribai Phule. So your answer is Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda believed that a strong, energetic, and healthy physical body was prerequisite for spiritual and intellectual growth. He abhorred physical weakness and cowardice. 17th one. According to the National Curriculum Framework (NCF) narrative, the primary aim of education is to shift from practical application to theoretical theory, constructivism to behaviorism, rote learning to connecting knowledge to life outside school, mother tongue to English medium. So your answer is rote learning to connecting knowledge to life outside the school. A guiding principle of the NCF 2005-2023 is explicitly to connect school learning with the child's everyday life, ensuring learning is meaningful and moving away from textbook centric rote memorization. Question number 18. Savitri Bai Phule used which medium extensively to awaken the masses about the importance of education and the evils of the caste system. Silent movies, Marathi poetry like Kavya Phule, English novels, radio broadcast. So that is about Marathi poetry. Savitri Bai Phule was a prolific Marathi writer. She used her poems like those in Kavya's Phule to argue marginalized communities to go get education as the primary weapon to eradicate poverty and social oppression. 91. Sri Aurobindo's second principle of teaching asserts the mind has to be consulted in its own growth. This implies that the teacher should ask the student what grade they want. B. Student education should not be forced. The child's specific nature, pace, and interest, swabhav and swadharma must guide their learning. C. Children should go on the school entirely. D. Exams should be voluntary. The answer is B. Education should not be forced. The child's specific nature, pace, and interest must guide their learning. Aurobindo believed it is a supreme error to hammer a child into the shape desired by the parent or teacher. The educator must discover the child's innate potential and help them to grow according to their own unique psychological makeup. 20. What is Jiddu Krishnamurti's view on the concept of ambition in education? It is the most important trait developed for success. It breeds ruthless comparison and conflict, destroying true love for the subject itself. See, it is necessary to survive in a capitalist society. D. It should be focused only on spiritual goals. So the answer is it breeds ruthless comparison and conflict, destroying true love for the subject itself. Krishnamurti saw ambition and comparison, grading students against each other as forms of psychological violence. He believed that doing something out of love for the action itself is completely different from doing it to be better than someone else. 21. Rabindranath Tagore heavily integrated which element into his educational curriculum that were largely ignored by the British system? Military drills, advanced European history, fine arts, music, dance, and aesthetic development. C. Strict religious dogmas. So the answer is fine arts, music, dance, aesthetic development. Tagore believed that the literature and science alone were insufficient for the full development of human being. He made music, art, and dance integral parts of the curriculum at the Santniketan to nurture the emotional and aesthetic senses. 22nd. In the narratives of NEP 2020, Panchakosha Vikas is recommended for the foundation stage from which ancient Indian philosophical tradition is this concept derived. So Panchakosha derived from an ancient A. Karvaka Methodism, B. Taitriya Upanishad, C. The Ardhashastra, D. The Manusmriti. So here that is about the Taitriya Upanishad. The Taitriya Upanishad describes the human being as having five layers of Seth, Kohas. Annamaya is related to physical, Pranamaya is related to energy, life energy, Manomaya is about the emotional, Vijnanamaya is intellectual, Anandamaya is about the blissful or happiness. Mahatma 23. Mahatma Gandhi famously said, literacy in itself is no education. Literacy is not the end of education nor even the beginning. What did they mean? What did he mean? Books should be banned in schools. Knowing how to read and write is useless. Reading and writing are mere tools. True education is the development of the character and the whole personality. Oral traditions are the only valid from valid form of wisdom. So your answer is reading and writing are mere tools. True education is the development of character and the whole personality. Gandhi argued that Western education equated literacy with education. He believed literacy was just a means and that true education must draw out the best in the child's body, mind, and spirit. 24th. Gandhiji, sorry, Gijubai Badeka's educational experiment proved that young children learn best when the teacher acts as fearful dictator, passive observer who never intervenes, C. Storyteller, playmate, and affectionate guide, D. Strict enforcer of textbook. So your answer is C. 1 minute. Sir, it's a good afternoon, sir. The room, sir. నేను ఇది నా కాగజ్ ఉన్నా కదా సార్ కాగజ్ చేస్తా సార్ సార్ ఎట్లా తీసుకోవాలి Okay, sorry. Your answer is storyteller, playmate, and affectionate guide. 25th one. Swami Vivekananda believed that the true essence of education is. That is, I am direct going to answers. So that is about concentration of the mind. He stated, if I had to do many education over again, I would not study the facts at all. It would develop the power of concentration and detachment, and then with within a perfect instrument, I could collect facts at will. So that is Swami Vivekananda believed that the true essence of education is what? That is about concentration of the mind. He stated, if I had to do many education over again, I would not study fact at all. So the answer is 25th one is concentration of the mind. 26. According to Aurobindo's third principle of education, a teacher must work from the near to the far, from that which is to that which shall be. This aligns with the modern pedagogical axiom. A teacher must work from the near to the far, from that which is to that which shall be. This align with the modern pedagogical maxim. Rote memorization, moving from the known to unknown, top-down processing, D. Standardized testing. So the answer is moving from the known to unknown. Aurobindo emphasized that learning must start with the child's immediate environment, culture, and current knowledge base, the near or known, before expanding to abstract, foreign, or future concepts. 27. Savitri Phule faced immense social backlash, including having mud and stones thrown at her because she dared to educate women and lower caste, threatening the deeply entrenched patriarchal and caste-based hierarchies. Patriarchal and caste-based hierarchies. Orthodox society viewed the education of women and Shudras disability as Dalit as a violation of religious and social norm or persistence in the face of physical and verbal abuse makes her a symbol of social reform. In Jiddu Krishnamurti school like Rishi Valley, a key emphasis is placed on self-knowledge. Why? Because understanding oneself is the beginning of wisdom and the only way to end inner conflict and societal violence. Krishnamurti thought that society is merely an extension of the individual. If the individual is internally conflicted, greedy, prejudiced, society will be violent. Therefore, deeply understanding one's own mind is the highest purpose of education. 29th. The NEP 2020's vision of creating global citizens who still retain a deep rooted pride in being Indian is direct reflection of narrative built by the Macaulay minutes of 1835, Rabindranath Tagore's synthesis of East and West, the Wood Dispatch, the Hunter Commission. So here is the answer, that is about Rabindranath Tagore's synthesis of East and West. Tagore did not want Indians to be blindly imitate the West, nor did he want them to remain isolated in outdated tradition. He envisioned an education that took the spiritual heritage of India and combined it with the Western scientific rationality. 30. Gandhi's Naithali was designed to be self-supporting. How was this meant to be achieved? By charging very high tuition fees, by asking the British government for massive grant. C. The products made by the student through their craft like sponge cloth or agriculture would be sold to sustain the school's expense. D. By relying entirely on donation from wealthy merchants. Answer is the product made by students through their craft would be sold to sustain the school's expense like spoon cloth or agriculture. Gandhi believed that if education was linked to productive labor, the schools could become financially independent, making universal education possible in poor, rural country without relying on oppressive government. 31. The Satyasadik Samaj, Truth Seeker Society, which heavily promoted education as a tool for social justice, was founded by Swami Vivekananda, Jyotirao Phule, Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar. So here the answer is about Jyotirao Phule with the support of Savitribai Phule. Founded in 1873, the society aimed to liberate the lower caste and untouchables from the exploitation and oppression of the upper caste, using education as the primary tool for empowerment. 32. Which document provide the guiding narrative that education must aim at developing higher order cognitive capacity such as critical thinking and problem solving as well as social, ethical and emotional capacity dispositions. The answer, the Right to Education Act 2009, National Education Policy NEP 2020, the Kothari Commission report, the Ashwell Committee report. So your answer is National Education Policy 2020. This is a force. This is the core foundation principle of the NEP 2020, shifting the narrative entirely away from the rote learning towards the holistic, multi-dimensional and critical capability of development. 33. Tagore strongly believed that childhood should be filled with heavy responsibilities and strict discipline, solitary confinement to encourage deep thought, C. Joy, freedom and intimate connection with nature, D. Constant testing and evolution. So your answer is joy, freedom and an intimate connection with nature. Tagore's own traumatic experience with rigid formal schooling led him to believe that children learn best when they are happy, feel free to explore, and surrounded by the beauty of the natural world. 34. When Swami Vivekananda spoke of Vedantic education, he was advocating for an education that instilled fear of God and divine punishment, intense competition between students, C. The realization of inherent divinity in every human being leading to universal brotherhood, D. The renunciation of all scientific knowledge. The answer is the realization of inherent divinity in every human being leading to the universal brotherhood. Applied Vedanta for Vivekananda meant recognizing that the same divine spark exists everywhere. Education should therefore cultivate immense self-belief and selfless service to others. 35. In the Daivaswapna, when the new teacher is faced with chaotic, undisciplined class on his first day, what unconventional method does he use to capture their attention? Caustic. He beats the loudest student with a cane. He sends them all to the principal's office. He tells them a captivating story. He gives them a surprise math test. So here is the answer. He tells them a captivating story. Gijubai Badekas illustrates that a teacher's best tool for classroom management is not a stick, but engaging the children's imagination. The story captivates them immediately, establishing his authority through interest rather than fear. 36. Sri Aurobindo's collaborator, who was instrumental in implementing his vision of integral education at Ashram School in Pondicherry, is known as Sister Nivedita Anabisent, the mother, Miss Mira Alfasa Sarojini Naidu. So the answer is, it is option C, the mother, Mira Alfasa. Mira Alfasa, widely known as the mother, worked closely with the Aurobindo and founded the Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education, translating his philosophical ideals into a practical educational framework. 37. Which thinker's narrative would most strongly oppose the modern educational trend of ranking students and declaring toppers? So your answer, G.D. Krishnamurti, Thomas Macaulay, B.F. Skinner, Frederick Taylor. So the answer is G.D. Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti repeatedly warned that grading and ranking destroy love and create a society based on ruthless competition, envy, and conflict. He believed learning should be non comparative. 38. The NCF 2005 brought in a major narrative shift by stating that the child is a natural learner. This means that the teacher's role is to provide blank state for the child, force the child to study through punishment, facilitate a stimulating environment where the child can actively construct knowledge through experience. D. Read the textbook aloud until the child memorizes. So the answer is facilitate a stimulating environment where the child can actively construct knowledge through experience. Embracing constructivism, the NCF 2005 narrative moved away from viewing children as empty vessels to be filled by the teacher, viewing them instead as active meaning maker. 39th. Mahatma Gandhi's ninth aim was criticized by some at the time because they believed, some at the time they believed, A, it would make students too violent, it was too focused on abstract mathematics, child labor was being discussed as education, it relied too heavily on British textbooks. So your answer is that the child labor was being discussed as the education. Critic misunderstood the integration of the product craft, fearing it was the form of the child labor. Gandhi clarified that the craft was medium of intellectual and moral education, not just a physical chore. 40. Savitribai Phule opened a care center called Bal Hatya. Bahatya Pratik Bandhak Gruha. While not a school, it reflects our broader education ethos of promoting animal rights, protecting pregnant widows, and rape victims from infanticide and social boycott, showing education is intertwined with the social reform and human dignity, training children for the military, teaching agriculture to farmers. So the answer is about protecting pregnant widows and rape victims from infanticide and social boycott, showing education is intertwined with the social reform and human dignity. So our vision of education went behind literacy. It was deeply compassionate and aimed at eradicating the cruelest social practices of our time, protecting the absolute most vulnerable in society. 41. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. While quote by John Dewey, which Indian educators Bal Mandir experiment most closely embodied this pragmatic view. John Dewey pragmatic view related to Bal Mandir associated with whom? Gijubai Badeka, Aravinda Ghosh, Swami Vivekananda, Patel. So the answer is Gijubai Badeka, Maria Montessori. So that is about Gijubai Badeka. Gijubai's approach was to make the classroom a living, breathing extension of the child's natural life, filled with games, drama, festivals, and nature, rather than rigid preparation for future employment. 42. Which of the following best represent the Tagore's view on relationship between freedom and discipline in education? A. Discipline must be imposed by fear of the cane. B. True discipline comes from inner freedom and joyful engagement with learning, not external compulsion. C. Freedom should not be given until a child is 18 years old. D. Teacher, there should be no discipline at all in schools. So the answer is true discipline comes from inner freedom and a joyful engagement with learning, not external compulsion. Tagore believed that enforced rigid discipline like sitting perfectly still for hours damages the child's spirit. When a child is genuinely interested and happy, self-discipline naturally follows. 43. The NEP 2020 narrative states that education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, and caring. Thus, this directly synergize with which thinkers' concept of holistic development. So that is about Arabinda's integrated education, Gandhi's head hand, Vivekananda's man-making education, all of this. Is of course Arabinda's internal education, Gandhi's head, heart, hand, Vivekananda's man-making education. So the answer is all. The guiding document of NEP 2020 is synthesis of the great Indian education narrative. It explicitly draws upon the holistic, character-driven, and experiential philosophy of all these major Indian thinkers. 44. Arise, awake, and stop not to till the goal is reached. This famous motivation call, deeply applicable to the perseverance required in learning, was popularized by Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh. So the answer is Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda adopted this powerful aphorism from the Katha Upanishad, using it to inspire the youth to cast off lethargy, realize their immense inner strength, and strive tirelessly for excellence and self-realization. 45. In J.D. Krishnamurti philosophy, what prevents a person from truly listening or learning? So that is a lack of expensive textbook, a mind cluttered with a post prejudice conclusion and continuous internet chatter. C. Not having a strict teacher. D. Poor hearing ability. So the answer is a mental clutter with a past prejudice conclusions and continuous internal chatter. Krishnamurti is thought that true learning requires a quiet, observant mind. If one is constantly judging, comparing, filtering information through the past conditioning, they are not actually listening or learning anything new. 46. Ultimately, the common thread uniting the narrative of Gandhi, Tagore, Aurobindo, and Vivekananda is their absolute rejection of the use of the mother tongue in school, the concept of spiritual development, the colonial British model of education, which they saw Clark producing, culturally alienating, and intellectually suffocating. D. The inclusion of physical education in the curriculum. So it is the answer. The colonial British model education, which they saw as a Clark producing, culturally alienating, and intellectually suffocating. All these thinkers rebelled against the Macaulay's education system, which aimed to create subservient workforce disconnected from Indian roots. They all insist on education that produces free, strong, culturally rooted, and holistically developed individuals. Okay, these are 46. Actually, your paper will get 23 questions. I made here two tests with 23 and 23. We have to attempt only 20 questions. Okay, thank you. All the best.